Hello my friends and welcome. We have some of the interesting information coming from the front lines, the exact place that I told you yesterday Ukraine went on counteroffensive. Yes, it's Liman direction, and here you might see Ukrainian infantry personnel carrying vehicle, which delivered the group of the Ukrainian soldiers closer to the Russian positions, but on the way back it was hit by the Russian fiber optic controlled drone. Let's look at this. So the image is here. The vehicle has the protection, some of the cage, but it was hit. Here we have this image. The smoke is coming from the aft part. Russians have not published the video that the vehicle was completely stopped, demolished, on fire. So it was hit, yes, but it proceeded. Yeah, it continued the movement. It was visible here on the video. So one FPV drone strike, usually it doesn't stop any sort of the vehicle with the drone protection. And let me show you the place where it happened. So this is the eastern front line. Let's zoom into this upper part. And here is the vehicle that was hit by the Russian FPV drone. So far, we are not sure whether the vehicle was completely destroyed or continued its movement. But totally there were 4 of the vehicles. They landed, the infantry, somewhere near Nove. This is the village, which is quite big. And were returning back to Ukrainian positions. And just one was hit on the way. So Russians 237th Tank Regiment fiber optic FPV strike on 3 APCs, army personnel carrying vehicles, which were returning back to Ukrainian positions. It was geolocated and confirmed, and not just by IMI, other OSINTs also shared their analysis. The Ukrainian Infantry channel also confirms the location, and it was like that. So the personnel was landed somewhere close to Nove. We don't know the exact position because there are no drone images, and they were returning back empty. And we have the confirmation coming from the Russian channel. Yeah, sorry, they were returning this way, not this one. Alright guys, just a usual short reminder. Don't forget to smash your like straight down to this video. Thumb up, and also subscribe to the channel. We are on the way to reach some number of subscribers, hopefully this year, we'll see. Anyways, the number is not that important as your views, your support, your likes, your subscriptions, your everything. Guys, you are making everything possible for us here, for our community. You are the best. And let's continue with the video. And we have the report from Dmytro about the case. Dmytro is our officer. He's known as Kriegsfor here on Twitter, and he publishes some of the information, visuals, and sites sometimes on his channel, and he commented this case. Well, he says that in one of the directions at the front line, one of the Ukrainian brigades used 4 infantry fighting vehicles during the attack. They have managed to break through up to 3 kilometers, dismounted infantry, and all of the vehicles managed to retreat. Well, one was hit, it was damaged, but capable to return back. It was a successful operation after all. And all of that was during a perfect sunny day where drones constantly flying and targeting something. So how did they manage not to be targeted by drones? Well, he says that the battlefield was prepared for that. Happy Independence Day. Yeah, Happy Independence Day. That was yesterday. So that's the difference between how Russia plans its operation and Ukraine. Ukraine does everything possible to save the lives of the soldiers. Well, if it is not Skela Brigade under Syrsky. But this particular attack was really successful, and I guess Ukraine will liberate one more village in Liman direction. And Dmytro says that the front line was prepared. It means that Ukraine used electronic warfare systems to jam enemy drones. And that's why they used fiber optic control drone, but they haven't got many of those, so they sent just one and it hit the vehicle. There was no other tools for Russia to hit Ukrainian vehicles out there. Well, they could have used artillery, but artillery is not that precise. And I'm not even telling about aviation gliding bomb strikes. The planning of those strikes, it takes time, and those are not really precise. And what does Klemen Molen says about the stuff? Video showing Russian fiber optic FPV drone hitting one of 4 infantry fighting vehicles returning from attack today. It seems that mainly fiber optic drones are being used. Yes, it was the same during May 22nd assault. Well, back then it happened not in this direction. I guess it was Zaporizhia Oblast and Dnipropetrovsk, but there Russians also used fiber optics only, which means that there is an important Ukrainian jamming. Yes, it's like that. Ukraine really prepares its attacks and also operating simultaneously with their own drones on Russian territories. Yeah, first of all, aviation gliding bomb strikes, artillery strikes, sometimes even HIMARS, and then attack with jammers and also FPV drones accompanying Ukrainian vehicles. On the video, at least 3 vehicles are heading back after reaching the front, getting behind, dropping infantry, which means the operation was successful. Yes, now it's understandable that it was. How next it could be, like initial stage of this operation went well, the issue goes with supplies. But I also think if our guys were delivered there with the vehicles and not just on their own feet as Russians performed their infiltration attempts, I think they might have some of the resources with them, products, food, water, and of course ammunition. So armored vehicles are not obsolete, they need to be used in an integrated battlefield with drones, infantry and artillery. Hitting them is not enough to damaging or destroying them. Yeah, so with the drone protection really rules. So here we have an example that maneuver warfare is not dead. Yeah, if you have those extra tools, those small convoy attacks could be successful. But not on Lada vehicles, not on Bukhanka vans, of course. You need to have the proper tools to operate with that kind of the tactics, and that is what Russia is in lack of. They tried, by the way, to attack in Pokrovsk-Dobropilya direction recently with many of the tanks, and Arena M system was working, but it was not that effective. And what I see from my monitoring of the front lines, because I'm going through updates every day, that Russia doesn't have effective electronic warfare system. And they might jam Ukrainian drones, but Ukraine always updates technologies, how to bypass the particular Russian electronic warfare. But on the other hand, Ukraine has developed its own electronic warfare, which is very effective. Well, it could be effective right now. Russians also might tune and upgrade their drones. So it's the constant race of the technologies. Ukraine has lots of the updates every year, multiple times. Yeah, this is happening. So both armies are trying to find the ways, variants of how to attack or counterattack. We saw Russia using Arena M, yes, it was used recently, active defense for its tanks that were successful to some extent, and now we have another example with Ukraine. Well, I think that Ukrainian example with electronic warfare is more versatile because it guarantees the security or safety not just for particular tanks with Arena M installed, but also for infantry, for any sort of the vehicle, because all of the drones are getting jammed, all except fiber optic control drones, and here Arena M wins, of course. But the Russian Arena M is not that developed, it just has 12 of the shells to launch to hit those drones coming, and that's it. What to do after, because Ukraine launches at least 20 drones per tank. Whether it's the Hunger tank or Arena M, in this case it doesn't really matter. So it's the second time armored vehicles are being used and hit in this same direction in 4 months. But we have never had any proof of Russian side of total destruction of at least one vehicle, yeah, which shows that even after being hit and damaged, they often can continue to drive and leave the front line. Remember, this is still a very small example, but imagine a winter day with wind and fog, with good jamming, infantry fighting vehicles can go very deep behind the lines. It was happening in spring, winter, autumn. Ukraine was operating with the tanks in foggy conditions, even at the front lines. Yeah, it was possible. And also Ukraine went on counterattack towards Stepnogorsk, that's Zaporizhia direction. Let me show you on the maps. And here we have Zaporizhia, this is Kamensk and Stepnogorsk. So here Ukrainian GUR forces on infantry fighting vehicles went to Stepnogorsk, also landing infantry forces, liberating this settlement completely. Yeah, partially they show it in a gray area, but gray area is elsewhere. De facto Stepnogorsk and this crossroad is under Ukrainian control, together, by the way, with part of Plavny. And Russians has already recognized the loss. The future fight might happen for Kamensk. But of course, Liman direction is one of the most important for Ukraine, and their Ukraine counterattacks. Kind of interesting. This is Amur gas pumping station and gas hub of the Russian Federation, of the Gazprom company, and all of those people are mainly immigrants from the Central Asia, and they're running away because the facility went on fire. Yeah, it wasn't the drone strike, absolutely. Someone just smoked at the wrong place and at the wrong time. happens. Recently, there are lots of those kind of the cases in Russia, all across the Russian territory, even in St. Petersburg and Moscow. I reported about it in my previous updates. The day before yesterday, a couple of the warehouses went on fire without any sort of the drones. So either those are the bad smokers or Ukraine sends the remote curse. It's even hot looking at this one. This was a really important Russian gas facility for pumping and moving gas for the export, not just to Europe, by the way. Yeah, something really terrible happened there, indeed. And those are the strikes on Apfinsky refinery, Russian Federation. It's not the first time it was hit, Krasnodar region, and there was the fire filmed the last night. Some of the kabooms you see. Yeah, Ukraine is very effective against this one in particular because it's not that far away. Some of the news about the Russian sabotage attacks on territory of the NATO and European Union countries. So German investigators find third drone and suspected explosives at Leipzig airport, local media says. Third drone was found. Whether it was used in a previous drone strike attempt on Antonov 124, which is based there, and basically there are many of those kind of the aircraft, not just a single one, operated by Antonov Airlines. And a few weeks ago, one of the drones actually hit the wing of Antonov 124 airplane. Luckily, it didn't went kaboom. So everyone is fine, but the drone was found, and it's the Russian spider web on territory of European Union and NATO. And whether we're gonna see some of the strong reaction from NATO on this incident, no. Alright, the Moscow Times says that Russians in 17 of the regions of Russia are facing the forced mobilization. They complain about the forced detentions and the forced mobilization. I just translated for you. So de facto, Russia may not announce this big, huge mobilization officially, with Putin telling about it as he did in 2022. The mobilization is actually already ongoing and the previous decree was not cancelled. So Russia is in the state of mobilization. That's why Russians are leaving Russia that massively, because they got forcibly mobilized. And I listened to some of the Russian opposition media. They say that Russian police now detains people on the streets for whatever reason, violation of the traffic rules, or maybe drinking some of the alcohol in public places, and they've been delivered to police stations where they're pressed, sometimes even physically, to sign the contract with the Russian army. It is happening, not in all regions of Russia, but in some of them like Omsk, Penza, and now we know about 17 regions in general. The situation is like that. And yesterday there were some of the interesting news coming from one of our main allies, United Kingdom, UK, to help Ukraine build Storm Shadow long-range missiles. Why it matters. So basically it is what Donald Trump promised to Ukraine with PAC-3 missile interceptors to share the technologies and some of the secrets. But of course you know what happened with that promise. Ukraine obtains the technologies from UK. Storm Shadow of course is not the air defense missile, but it might help Ukraine to improve own cruise missiles or make some new missile, which could be way more effective than FP5 Flamingo. The only problem here is the time. Ukraine needs time for development, for production. Yeah, technologies, they matter, but they matter in a long-term perspective. This is interesting fragment of the video that was shown yesterday. So Ukrainian helicopters, they're carrying the drone interceptors. Here you might see the rails and the drone is flying, and one more drone is over here. Nice. This is how helicopters could be used. But the next stage or the next step in Ukrainian drone interceptor development is to use, of course, the jet-propelled drones, because Russia has lots of the Guran 5, Guran 4 and Banderol drones. They hurt Ukraine a lot. And just the last night, several of those Russian jet drones hit the infrastructure of Ukraine. Guys, this is crazy. The United States of America has refused to join 50 countries in a joint statement in the United Nations to condemn the Russian strikes against Ukraine. It happened again, as they say. So United States, it goes crazy with Donald Trump. It votes as North Korea or something for all of those initiatives. Yet Donny is just unhinged. He's undermining the global defense, and I wouldn't be surprised if Russia would escalate even more against NATO, European countries, and China would start its special military operation against Taiwan. They have this window while Donald Trump is in power. And you know what? I think they're waiting for November elections, so Democrat might win. And there could be some of the disagreement between Congress, between House, maybe if Democrats would win Congress, which I do not expect, honestly, but we'll see. So there will be a political mess, and counteracting to the global threats, it might take time and competence. Donald Trump is in lack of the competence as well as his office, and some of the decisions might be opposed by the House. House might start some of the investigations. So I guess that Putin and Xi Jinping, they're waiting for this to happen, for the political opponents in the United States to start to eat each other. Sadly, it's all happening because of Donny personally. Whoa, Russia threatens Ukraine once again. Britain is participating in this war. They add the fuel into the fire and regularly what they do? Plots prevent any development in the peace process. Wow. Is there any sort of the peace intention from the Russian side? It seems like they are completely opposite. Putin himself called the peace proposal to cease fire is something extraordinary, or as he says, extravagant resolutions that Ukraine proposes together with some of the allies. They now threaten UK. Alright, this video was shared yesterday by Magyar. It shows the Russian loss of MiG-29 aircraft. Yeah, one more. Just a few days ago, Russia lost MiG-29, Sukhoi 33 fighter jets, plus Russian Orion sophisticated drone, which is the analog of the Bayraktar TB2. Well, one more strike and minus one more Russian fighter jet. This is MiG-29 as we see this silhouette. And radar after radar. Lots of those were kaputted, so Magyar regularly shows those videos from occupied Crimea, other occupied territories, also with Russian barracks, Russian logistics, Russian absolutely everything. Constant drone strikes every night or every day. The video is quite long, is almost like 5 minutes, the most recent compilation. I guess I showed you already tons of those, and Magyar works really precisely. I mean, Ukrainian drone army, and Magyar is the chief of the Ukrainian drone army. So MiG-29, lots of the raiders, the dummy of the helicopter K-52. So here we have the confirmation. Ukraine is not spreading the disinformation when it is visible that there is some of the dummy. So dummy of K-52, yeah, in Crimea probably. Transmitting stations, some of the warehouses, yeah, lots of the stuff. Alright guys, it's all what I want to say in this video. Stand by for more and please support my job on Patreon. The link for it is in the video description right below, or join the membership of YouTube channel by pressing button join. Also don't forget to smash your likes and subscribe to the channel. Guys, you are awesome, you are making this content possible. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are and have a great time.